Alrighty, I think we are recording. So we had a little difficulties on Facebook Live. So we've gone ahead and actually used Microsoft Teams, which I think is very relevant for our conversations. So we're going to record this session. So I have Timothy Blake here with Brown Baker Blake LLC, BBB Techs, also known as. And yeah, actually I met Tim about a year ago in New York and we stay connected. And I really, believe in you, Tim, believe you to be a powerhouse for a lot of reasons.
Thank
But why don't
you.
you go ahead and just give a brief introduction of yourself and what it is that you do with BBB Techs.
Sure. Thank you, Keeley. So, to give you just a little bit of a background of what I do and where I came from, what Brown Baker and Blake is designed to do is to help technology and companies progress to the next level. With Brown Baker and Blake, we really are designed to take technology, primarily Office 365, teach, implement, and so that all of your employees and your fellow colleagues can work more efficiently throughout their day-to-day operations and also bridge a lot of geographical barriers.
Awesome. And when we had met in New York, you were working for Estee Lauder, and I know that
Correct.
you actually worked for a couple of other companies. Why don't you tell me about your experiences and what all kind of the work you've done and who you've done it for?
Sure. So I was originally recruited by a company called Michael Page, who was contracted with Estee Lauder. I was brought down to help train or drive adoption for all of their employees globally and locally. We started with North America. We slowly worked our way into the Europe region, which is EMEA. As working for Estee Lauder, I was working there for about a year. We started to finish up that program, and I started to move out on my own. On my own, I went ahead and developed my company with Alex Baker, who is my partner and my co-founder, of a new way of implementing technology and a new way of sharing our passion of technology with different companies. And the way that we decided and the way that we wanted to design our roadmap was to start working with larger corporations as well as smaller businesses to make it so that they can be most effective in their day-to-day operations. Because of this, I've gotten to work with multiple different companies like Johnson & Johnson, Prudential. I've also gotten to work with a company out in Texas called DTCC. So there's a lot of different companies, as well as a couple new contracts that I hopefully will be working on to continue to drive adoption for particularly Office 365, which is a tool that I've been working with very closely and helping implement across large and small businesses so that they can be most effective in their time and their operations in just simple tasks.
Yeah, awesome. Well, and I know Microsoft products, and especially with Office 365, a lot of universities use them and bigger businesses. I've come across a lot in my career. But tell me why Microsoft Office 365? Like, what are the advantages and why are people making the move to it? And what are some of the tools that are part of that?
Sure, and that's a great question. I get that question asked all the time. I guess one of the key points to understand, to sum up and understand a little bit more of Office 365, is the complete collaboration tool. For a lot of time, we've noticed that companies have been using multiple different tools, multiple different apps and services so that they can get work done. With this, it actually results in creating a shadow for IT, as multiple logins are now occurred for users, device, and then IT can't manage these actual products, so there's no way to keep company data safe. Microsoft saw all of these trends and challenges, and they said, let's make a complete collaborative platform and a complete suite where you can access all of the tools from one single interface. So Office 365 has tools like email, which we all know and love, but we've started to notice they've gotten a little messy over the past couple of years. So Microsoft designed, in response to these modern trends and challenges, Office 365, which actually provides us tools like Microsoft now to be more effective in our communication, bridge geographical barriers, and touch a multi-generational workforce. We also can go ahead when using Office 365 is leverage tools that are like Dropbox, but integrated with the apps that we know and love, like Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. But it also takes a unique set of tools and products like Planner, OneNote, Forums, where I've had a lot of different executive vice presidents and vice presidents, especially a lot of just people working in their normal operations, tell me that these tools have been able to make it so they can work under one login, but also be able to go ahead and track ideas, share plans, capture meeting notes, action items, all in real time. And essentially the real reason is it takes everything that you already know and love and it simplifies it and makes it from one location with one login.
Awesome. So for example, if a company sees their employees using like a combination of Slack and Trello and Dropbox when they already have Outlook and Outlook calendar, they should be using Office 365 because they can use Teams and OneDrive. Yeah, exactly. Cool.
Correct.
Awesome. Very cool. And when so I know you do some training, so I'm sure like you've done a lot of trainings for employees, but you work with the IT department specifically on implementation. So maybe tell me a little bit about the services you offer and how those differ and what that looks like for people.
Sure. So to kind of circle back to when I was giving you that introduction to Office, I said it's the complete collaborative solution. With that being, I wanted to start a company built off passion for Office 365, but instead of just offering the typical IT setup service or the typical IT training service, I wanted to offer the complete technical solution. Because Office 365 has multiple gears and multiple factors that are in play, you have to have the setup just as well as you have to have the understanding and training. So all of these different apps and services need to be configured and geared towards your company policies, your company goals. Now, even though it's essentially one unique product, there's different ways that you can set it up. And Brown, Baker, and Blake specifically looks for these different challenges or these different items that you're struggling with in your business and tries to take the technology from the setup perspective, more of the engineering, and gear it towards your company. But we've also started to understand that companies have technicians that have been working so diligently in the past couple years, understanding a bunch of new products, but also having to leverage existing products. And we want to also offer opportunities to help shadow what that process or what that move looks like so that it can be done correctly, but also take your already existing engineers and your already existing IT team and have them so that they're most effective when working with this product and not leave it so you're just stuck with going with another service, that your in-house coordinators, your in-house engineers can go ahead and exemplify or share the same kind of passion and knowledge that we have learned working with so many large and small enterprise clients.
Awesome. Well, and my mantra is embrace the spectrum, and I can, I'm very appreciative. You've been a great ally for me in my journey, both as an entrepreneur and also just, being able to bring my authentic self into everything that I do. So I'm curious when I say embrace the spectrum, what does that mean to you, and how do you think about that?
Sure, I think that's a great question. I believe when you say embrace the spectrum, there's a lot of different key identifiers that you can talk about. But specifically for myself, when I hear that kind of key phrase, is I want to embrace the IT spectrum. I want to take what we have, our multi-generational workforce, the large amount of employees, whether it's the new people coming in where it's more around my age, the early 20s, the later 20s, but now we're working with a workforce that has people that are up in their 60s, 70s, even 80s, and all of this technology is still new to every component. The younger generation may have a better understanding, but the older generation may know how to actually implement and work more efficiently. So how can we bridge this barrier? And also, how can we go ahead and take that gap and minimize it? And I really think that Office 365 has been proven both in a multi-generational standpoint and a geographical way that you can bridge all of these different barriers they collaborate effectively, but also understand the tools that we know and love that we're already using, like Facebook, like Instagram, like even Photo Bucket, MySpace, all of those different types of social media platforms interact very similar to Office 365. So you get to start to learn how we can really work together. And really with Office 365, we believe in understanding technology in the workplace. And it takes teaching for that to be able to happen. And I believe that the way that I've been teaching and the way that I've understood kind of this multi-generational barrier has been able for me to be able to have complete knowledge and understanding and share that with different aspects of the workforce, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely. And I love that. I mean, anyone that knows you or has seen you in action knows you can talk to anyone and make friends with anyone. But I mean, I think it's just impressive, like how early you are in your career, but already you're working with the different stakeholders in a business to figure out that complete IT solution to make their employees more productive and more engaged. So yeah, I think it's awesome. I love that answer. So yeah, so if people want to like keep up with your journey and with your progress, what is the best way to either get in contact with you,
Sure.
potentially if people are using Microsoft Office 365 and want your services, or just to, keep up with your progress?
Sure. So a couple things I would completely recommend right off the bat is check out our website. It's going to be BBB.com, which I know it's in the post as well. So you can go ahead and check out that website, take a look at some of our content. Also, feel free to email me directly. My email is going to be tblake@bbbtechs.com. So you can also always feel free to email me directly. And I also encourage following me on LinkedIn. I do post a lot of content on LinkedIn. I share some videos that I have a lot of progress of what's going on in my operation. So all of those are great different ways. And Facebook and any of the other social media platforms, feel free to reach out to me, message me, ping me. I'm always happy to hear your feedback and advice and comments and concerns.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Tim. As a reminder, this is Timothy Blake with BBB Techs. Tim is part of my Power Network. So you are my go-to for anything Microsoft Office 365 related. So thanks for your time, and hopefully we get some good follow-up questions that we can answer on the post.
Awesome. Thank you, Keeley, and you have a great one.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.